Blog Talk Radio. Hello to all of my listeners around the world, and welcome to another episode of the Stress is Stressing Me Out podcast. I am Maki Adeyemi. I'm hoping everybody is having a great day today on this Friday. Here in St. Louis, the sun is out, the sky is blue, but it's very, very cold, and we are expecting it to get colder this weekend into next week. Our last podcast, we spoke about what stress is and how it affects the body. If you missed that episode, you can pull it down from Spotify. I believe the other one is called Tune In, and you can also find it at Blog Talk Radio as well. I received 2 emails yesterday. One speaks of what we talked about last week, is in line with that, so I'm going to read both emails. And then we're going to get into today's episode, which is de-stressing. So here is the first email. And this email comes from Remy in Las Vegas, Nevada. It says, Dear Maki, have you ever experienced anxiety or panic attacks? I believe I have. What are the symptoms? First of all, I would like to give you the symptoms, and then I will tell you my experience with panic attacks and anxiety. I did my research, and this information that I'm going to give you is coming from healthline.com. That is healthline.com, all one word. And they speak of 11 symptoms of anxiety or anxiety disorder. Number 1, excessive worrying. Number 2, feelings of agitation or being agitated. 3, restlessness. 4, fatigue. 5, difficulty concentrating. 6, tense muscles. 7, irritability. Number 8, trouble falling or staying asleep. Number 9 is panic attacks. Number 10 is avoiding social situations. And number 11 is irrational fears, and I'll come back to that. Yes, I have experienced panic attacks. It was in 2012. In fact, I had 2 of them. And my doctor tried to put me on a medication called Ativan. I took Ativan. I took it at least twice. It was the most horrible feeling. I took it, and it felt like I was levitating off of the couch, like I was literally floating off the couch, and I could not, absolutely not, deal with that. But my first panic attack happened to me when I went into the grocery store, and something that I normally do, that all of us do, and I had my basket. I went and collected everything that I needed, and I got up to the checkout, and all of a sudden I felt the walls were closing in on me. My heart rate sped up for no reason. My palms became sweaty, very sweaty, and all I felt like was trying to get out of there. So I left my basket there, and I just left the store completely. And the second time it happened to me, I was on Interstate 44, and I was leaving. If you know anything about St. Louis, we are one of the few areas that still have a distinction between St. Louis City and St. Louis County. I was in St. Louis County, or leaving St. Louis County to come back into the city. And I was on Interstate 44 heading east. And all of a sudden, I just felt lightheaded. I felt like I needed to get out of the car and run. I had to pull over and go to a gas station I've got something to drink, and I was trying to calm myself down. I even had a panic attack at home, and it feels like you want to run through a door without opening it. You just want to run straight through the door. And it is the most horrible feeling. And like I said before, my doctor gave me a prescription for Ativan. It was like 5 milligrams and pretty small dosage. But as I said before, the first time that I took it, and I was sitting on my living room sofa, I literally felt I was floating. It felt like I can't explain it to you. I was literally trying to put my hands on the sofa to keep myself from, in my mind, keep myself from floating away. And I knew then I couldn't take it, so I took the Ativan and I threw it in the trash. And I never took it again. I still have panic attacks now and again, but I found ways that I can calm myself down, or de-stress, get rid of the anxiety, or at least bring it down without having to take medication. And not just Ativan. There are a lot of medications that are out there for anxiety, but you do not have to take them. There are natural ways that you can calm yourself down when you're anxious. And this particular website, healthline.com, they have those ways listed there. I didn't talk about that here. I won't talk about that here. But you can go on to healthline.com, and they have natural ways that you can calm your anxiety. Another thing I want to look at is irrational fears. There again, this is coming from the same website, healthline.com. And the irrational fears they listed here were animal phobias, natural environment phobias, meaning hurricanes and floods, blood injection, injury phobias, situational phobias. There is a phobia. I'll get back to that. When they speak of natural environment phobias, hurricanes and floods, I don't think that's irrational, because you're talking about massive amounts of water, and that's pretty rational if you're somebody who can't swim. I can't swim. So there's absolutely no way that I would go to the beach, but I won't go anywhere near the ocean. I won't go anywhere near the water. If I'm staying in a hotel that has a pool, I would not even go near the pool. I would try to sit as far back as I possibly can from the pool. Anything, lakes, rivers, I even have a fear of going over a bridge, but it's okay if I'm driving. But I get slightly scared if I'm driving with someone and we're crossing over water, and especially at night and it's dark. It looks very scary. So I don't think having a fear of hurricanes and floods, I don't think that's an irrational phobia. I really think that is rational. Now, what is irrational, for example, is the fear of clowns. And I can remember Maury Povich doing a show where he talked about people who had different kinds of phobias. And he had a woman on there who was actually literally afraid of clowns. And the name of that phobia is called coulrophobia. And the prefix couro is spelled Coulro. It means one who goes on stilts. It is Greek. And phobia, of course, means fear. So I think that's more irrational than being or having a phobia with hurricanes and floods, because water can kill. Hopefully, clowns don't. So I just wanted to talk about that, because maybe you think it's irrational to be afraid of floods and hurricanes, and you can tell me what you think. And here again, Healthline.com also mentions different ways, natural ways that you can reduce anxiety. So if you're one of the many people who deal with that, there are different techniques they have listed there that you can go out and read about. Also, you can generally do your own research in regards to that. Okay, so here's the second email. This email is from Jonas. He's from Washington, D.C., and he writes, I need help. I have a close family member who is stressing me out. It is one thing after another. They only they only call me to give me assignments, and he has the word assignments with quotation marks around it. Assignments to do. I am at my wits' end. I am thinking about separating myself from them, but I know that would hurt them. What do I do? Oh, well, Jonas, in about I would say about another week or two, I will be dedicating a show to this type of situation. I am in the same type of situation, and this is why I started this podcast as a way to help other people, to get advice from other people, and to vent. We all vent. I will keep this email and I will revisit it. I will be doing a show on letting go of toxic toxic people, and why do toxic people stay in relationships and how to stay away from them, and boundaries. We know that there's boundary issues. People cross boundaries all the time. Maybe they need to, see that they are crossing boundaries, but that is something that I will be discussing in the next show or two. Okay, with that being said, guys, I want to take a music break, and when we come back off of the break, we will get into de-stressing. I also have some Twitter polls that I put out there on my Twitter page. I would like to discuss that, and then we'll get into a few eight things that you can use to de-stress. Of course, there's many, many, many more, but I'm just dealing with these eight here. So I will see you on the other side of the break. and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that music break. As I said before, I wanted to talk about de stressing. Before I get into the ways to de stress, I want to talk about the Twitter polls I put out there. I put three types of questions out there, and I want to discuss the results. It's really not a big survey. I did get some responses back, so I'm going to share with you what I have. The first poll question was, which activity distresses you the most? And the choices were cooking, sleeping, playing video games, and exercising. When I looked at cooking, it was 7.1% of people said that cooking de-stresses them. Sleeping was 42.9%. Playing video games was 35.7%. And exercise was 14.3%. So the big poll numbers, or it looks like the biggest way people de-stress or their activities to de-stress is sleeping or playing video games. The second poll question, I asked, what beverage helps you de-stress the most? And their choices was hot tea, beer, and wine. Hot tea got 54.5% of the votes, and beer got zero. Nobody picked that. And the wine was 45.5%. And of course, I could have picked other beverages, soda, other types of alcohol. Okay, here is the third question. I really didn't get that many people to respond to this. I really didn't leave the poll up that long. I think I left it up for like maybe 2 days to see what kind of responses I would get. And this is what I got. So the question is, if you could take a mini vacation every day, and mini vacation is in quotations, every day to relax, what activity would you enjoy? The first choice was having a glass of wine. The second choice was taking a bubble bath. Third choice was eating at your favorite restaurant. And the fourth choice was laying around on the sofa. Having a glass of wine was 33.3%. Taking a bubble bath was 33.3%. Eating at your favorite restaurant was 33.3%. And laying around on the sofa got zero response, 0%. Nobody chose that. Okay, so as I read there in the polls there are many ways people de-stress. They de-stress by doing activities. They may de-stress by, like the second poll question, by drinking a beverage, whether that's tea, whether that's some other kind of alcohol, wine, beer. I know myself, I de-stress and take a mini vacation with drinking a Diet Pepsi with lots of ice with 2 lime wedges in it. And I just kick back and just woosah for 30 minutes. I'm not endorsed by Pepsi, so I was not just saying that to be saying that as a product placement. But Pepsi, Diet Pepsi is one of my favorite drinks besides coffee and besides tea. So with all of that being said, I would like to talk about ways to de-stress. These are the 8 ways that I found. Some of these activities I do myself. Most of them on the regular basis I will do it. Some of you may have different activities or things you like to do to de-stress as well. But I want to go through these. Okay, the first way, it says stay positive. And what that means is laughing. Laughter lowers stress hormones. And you find that joke of the day or a favorite movie or television show that makes you just laugh like crazy. The shows that made me laugh the hardest, and I mean on the floor, tears flowing, just busting a gut on just totally just outrageously laughing. Those of you who are over 40, I'm pretty sure you heard of this guy or heard of this show, The Benny Hill Show. For you young people who never heard of Benny Hill, he has long since passed away, I want to say in 1992. Benny Hill was a British comedian who had a show on television. I want to say from the late 1960s. I want to say 1968, 1969, all the way up until he passed away, and I believe that was either in 1992 or 1993. And it was British skits that he did, and it was just so hilarious. I can't explain it. It's just something you would just have to sit and watch. And he's not on TV anymore, even as reruns. But you can buy the whole box set. The box set is like $300. I looked at buying it, and then I went against it. I still may purchase it. I just think $300 is quite a bit of money, but it's every show that he has ever done from 1968, 69, all the way up until he passed away. Every show. Um, I absolutely just love that show. I wish they would go ahead and just syndicate it and put it back on the air again. And um, the Three Stooges. The Three Stooges, I just laugh so hard. I can think of, I can just sit and think of a Three Stooges short, and I was just break out laughing. It's so funny. My favorite short is Disorder. I think it's called Disorder in the Court. And I never get tired of watching that. I never get tired of watching any of the Three Stooges shorts. They make me laugh in some sort of way. So it may not even be television shows for you. It may be a movie. You may have your favorite funny movie that you that you don't get tired of, that you can look at over and over and over again. But try to find a way to laugh. You know, laughter is the greatest medicine, I think. Okay, the second way to de-stress is meditation. And I don't mean like what they do in India and they have the incense burning and they're sitting with their legs crossed and that type of thing. When I mean meditate, just sit with your eyes closed and quiet your mind. Maybe for 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe that's all you need. Maybe you need about 30 to 45 minutes to sit and just, quiet your mind and stabilize yourself. So meditation, I did meditation for a while when I was a younger teacher coming in from work. I would go to my bedroom. I have my bedroom is my sleeping space as well as my office space. And so I have my chair there, and I would just come in and put my feet up and just close my eyes for like 45 or so minutes. Sometimes I end up going to sleep, but that's what happens. The third way is prayer. Your faith, your faith can be a comfort, whether you're a Christian, you're Muslim, you're Jewish, you're a Shintoist, you're a Buddhist, whatever you believe, whatever religion whatever religion that you follow, your faith in that can be a comfort. Saying a small prayer can be calming. Being grateful. I'm a Christian. When I get up in the morning, every morning is thank you, Jesus, that I'm alive, that I'm still in the land of the living. Be grateful for what you have. There are a lot of people who are less fortunate than you. We have like almost close to 500,000 people that have died from coronavirus who didn't make it. We also have people who had the virus and they recovered. I'm one of those people. I had the virus last year in the summer, July, and I was delivered, and the Lord brought me through that. And I am very grateful. So prayer changes things. Prayer works. Okay, number 4, exercise. Being physically active not only helps you de-stress, but it lowers your blood pressure. Last week we talked about having stress can give you high blood pressure. Me, myself, I exercise to a program that I stream on my Fire Stick, and you can also find it using your computer, Daily Burn. I exercise every other day, and it completely just opens you up. When I the exercising in general completely opens you up. Whether you exercise with a program like Daily Burn or Peloton, uh, both aspects of exercise, or you actually go out outside in the sunshine and you exercise. It's a great thing. And I'm not endorsing Daily Burn here. They're not paying me anything, but I love the fact that I can go to the gym without leaving my home. So it's exercise in whatever form that you choose to do, whether you do it at home or you actually go to like a club fitness or a Gold's Gym, or you just like to walk your neighborhood. Whatever it is that you choose to do, exercise will it will de-stress you. It will bring your stress level down. Okay, number 5, unplug. I had to do this recently. And what is meant by unplugged is to cut the cord, avoid emails, television news, both local and national. I have not watched news for the last 2.5 weeks. I didn't even turn the TV on. I stopped looking at CNN and stopped looking at Fox and even my local news. It's just so much stuff that is going on in the world. And a lot of that can bring stress and it can bring depression. So I'm not saying, never look at the news where you don't know what's going on in your neck of the woods, but it's okay to like maybe unplug from that stuff, maybe for a day, maybe for a couple of hours, and just engage in something else. But I found myself every time that I looked, whether it was CNN, whether it was Fox, whether it was even reading like the Washington Post on my phone or reading our local paper on the phone, it's just some situations that it just really angered me. And when you talk about what we just went through with the election, even the elections of 2016, the elections of 2020, it was brutal. It was just constant back and forth, and the media was not making it any better. It was just too much. The stuff that's going on now in Washington with our president, the riots that took place January 6th at our Capitol, it was just too much to have to hear all of that. So it's great to just turn the TV off. And like I said, I can sit with the TV off and not turn it on at all. It makes no difference to me. If I really truly want to know what's going on, I can open up my computer or I can open up my phone and I can look at whatever app. I have a news app on my phone. But sometimes the news is just too much, and a lot of it is these talking heads that are just stirring things up, you know. And it's really not about news anymore. It's opinions. And I'd rather know what the news is than to listen to you offer your opinion about things, because it's just that is an opinion. It doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to be substantiated. News have to be substantiated. But we have a lot of talking heads with these media outlets who are just there to entertain and not bring the news. And I'm interested in listening to what's going on, not someone else's opinion. So unplugging from all of that, unplugging from social media, unplugging from Facebook, all of that can de-stress you. Okay, number 6, change the environment. And when I say change the environment, I don't mean get a U-Haul truck and move to another part of the country or move to another part of town in your state or another part of the state. What I mean by that is do something pleasurable. Have a hot shower. Have a hot bath. If you are at work, step outside in the fresh air, in the sun. When I'm at work, I'm a school teacher, but we're at home right now because of COVID. But we are going to go back in person teaching here next month in March. But when I was at work, when I was on plan, I would go stand outside and find the most sunniest part and just stand in the sun and just feel the sun on my neck, to feel the sun on my face. It is the most beautiful thing. And in the evening time, the evening, let's say 4, I would say starting around 3:30, 4 o'clock, it is the evening sun to me. It is so beautiful. The sky at that time of the day, it is so beautiful. I can remember as a little girl, I would just go outside and just marvel at, wow, how does this happen? It's so beautiful in the evening. And my parents were like, what is she doing out there? But even today, as an adult, I'll go stand outside on my back porch and have like a glass of hot tea or a cup of hot tea or some iced tea or whatever. And I would just marvel at how beautiful the evening is, how beautiful the sun looks at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I it I get excited when we get closer to the summer and in the spring months, because now the sun doesn't set until like about 7:30, almost 8 o'clock, and we have all that time to have all the daylight, to have the blue sky to come in our windows. I mean, it's the greatest. It is the greatest thing, and there's something to be said about the sunshine. The sunshine, the sunshine does make you happy. It makes me happy. I love to open up my curtains in the morning and just let the sun shine in until it's time for the sun to set. So, change environment. Okay, number 7, do something creative, whether it's art, maybe you like baking, cooking, sewing, art. I'm not a good artist, but I used to watch the artist Bob Ross. I think he's passed on now. And if you would go to Channel 9 PBS, his show would be on. He would be standing there either painting pine trees or painting blue sky, and watching him paint the artsy part, him painting, it's relaxing. It de-stresses. Maybe you like to paint. Maybe you like to sew. Sewing with Nancy. I used to just watch people sew, and I would just be so amazed at the different kind of stitches they can do. That I could never do. I can sew a little bit, but I couldn't. I don't think I would have the patience to make a quilt or make my own clothes or anything like that. But just watching how they use their fingers to to create the stitch. Watching Bob Ross combine different kinds of oil paints to create a beautiful painted scene. Cooking. Maybe making like a sofrito or a mirepoix, relaxes you because you have to cut up all the ingredients. I know I love doing the prep work when I cook, cutting up the onions, cutting up the celery. As I'm standing there cooking ground beef, that could be relaxing. Baking. Baking takes concentration because baking is an exact science. And just a week ago, I learned how to make French bread. The only problem is that it takes time because of the risings. So I started making bread at 1 o'clock. I didn't get a chance to eat it till 5:30 in the evening. So I now know that I'm going to have to start a little bit earlier if I want to be able to have the bread and to be able to make the main course what I want to go with that bread. So, creativity. We have the Create channel by PBS. There are a lot of things on the Create channel. The cooking and the sewing and the painting. So, doing something creative, it doesn't have to be those things. It could be, you may like writing. You may like writing short stories and just creating characters. But you do what interests you. You can be creative. And that was number 7. And number 8, it says express your feelings. You can express your feelings by writing in a journal, or if you have a good friend, you can meet with that friend over coffee and just talk about the situation, just talking about what is causing stress, talking about what's causing you stress with that person can help you your stress level bring your stress level down. So listeners, tonight I'm asking you, and you can go to my Twitter page. I put a question out there. In what ways do you de-stress? You can tell me on my Twitter page. My handle is at stressis. It's very weird how they did that. It's at stressis, all one word. You can also find me on Facebook. I post the question there on Facebook. You can go there and make a comment. And my Facebook, Maki Adiemi. So Maki is spelled Maki, and Adiemi is spelled Adeyyemi. And also, you can also email me at sismo1875 at gmail.com. That is SISMO 1875 at gmail.com. And also, you can find this podcast on Spotify, TuneIn, and Blog Talk Radio. A new podcast will premiere every Saturday at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until next time, let not your heart be troubled. Relax, and I will see you next week.